shit. This thing is insane. What's up, guys? I'm Tommy Milner, Corvette racing driver. You probably know me from driving cars like this. But today I'm here driving the Dussault Designs 1300 horsepower Time Attack 67 Camaro. And also driving an old friend of mine, a C7R from 2019. So we'll compare the two cars, see how they compare a pro car to a Time Attack car. One car designed in a box, so to speak, and one car that has no box. So first we'll hop in the C7R, let myself get kind of warmed up. Then after that, we'll hop in this beast and go for a rip. Oh man, so just hopped out of the C7R there. Last time I drove that car was Petit Le Mans 2019. I did some big smoky burnouts in that one. Just a cool experience to come here to the Motorsport Ranch to drive this C7R again. Thanks to Pierce for offering it to us today. Took me a second to kind of get reaccustomed again, but definitely felt natural pretty quickly again. So just a super cool experience to drive this car again. You don't often get a chance to drive some old friends like that. Super happy to be here today and get comfortable at this new track for me here at Motorsport Ranch. And now I'll hop in that beast over there and see if I can scare myself a little bit. Holy shit, it's crazy. The power is absolutely unbelievable.
But it's manageable.
It
right?
is. Like, I mean, the first time that once they pulled off, and one time I rolled into it, obviously the tires were cold.
Yeah.
And that was like my first little glimpse, like, holy shit.
It's got power.
Yeah. All right, just hopped out of the Camaro here. Got warmed up in the Corvette and now hopped in the Camaro. I mean, this thing's just a beast. It's got so much power. I was expecting coming here for it to be a little bit more of a wild ride, and it's definitely a wild ride, but it's somehow comfortable. I didn't expect to say that about a 1,300 horsepower beast like this thing is, but it gave me the confidence to kind of keep pushing and find more lap time in the car. So biggest thing for me is it is still unrefined in a lot of ways. It's got some movement to it that I would rather not have, but I mean, again, looking at the thing, trying to make it work aero wise, and still a work in progress kind of thing too. So just an absolute blast. What a rip. I mean, in the TC it feels like everywhere, and when I'm not, the thing sounds like, goes like a rocket. Just super cool experience to drive this Camaro.
I was really interested to hear what your perspective would be on a time attack build, which is really just a bunch of hot rodders and guys with ideas on what would make a car fast. On how does that feel in comparison to a car like this that's built to a rule set, refined within an inch of its life. What's the experience like between the two different cars?
The best way to describe it is this is a much more of a raw driving experience. I've always liked, I still like kind of like the classic car anyway. I like driving kind of the oldies in some ways because you get the more visceral feel of what's happening with the car. Racing wise, something like this, when you need to find every 1/10 of a second, you want that refined experience. So driving something like this is definitely not what I'm used to, but I mean, it's so much fun, right? It's everything that every car guy loves about cars, right? You take a car and you want to hot rod a little bit, make it a little bit faster, but these days especially, I mean, you're looking at it, obviously the aero, and that's always been, I think, traditionally the biggest difference between the average person's street car that they trick out versus a proper race car is the aero stuff. I think has always been a big gap. Obviously these days it's no longer a big gap, and in fact, obviously looking at it, and quite clearly a lot more downforce here than this thing makes. But like you said, this is a very refined experience. It's very, for me at least, familiar. It took a couple laps before I kind of felt like...
It's been a while since you've driven this. Like, you haven't driven this since 2019, right?
Yeah, 2019, exactly. The last time I did it was Big Smoky Burnout. So have very fond memories of driving this car, and brought back big smile on my face when I got in the car and kind of was ripping it around a little bit. But so does this thing. I mean, to take something like this that has so much power, and coming in I thought it's going to be like a wild ride, and it is a wild ride like I said, but it is refined in its own way, right? To drive something like this with so much power and a bunch of guys in the garage, you know, dreaming up some cool ideas and throwing it on, and I know it's more than that, obviously. There's a lot, it's more refined than I'm kind of describing, but when you're piecing it all together and just using ideas from your brain for it to come out like this, there's even more potential in it. But as it sits now, it gave me the confidence to keep pushing and find more lap time and understand what it wanted to go faster and faster. So
good to hear that we're kind of on at least a reasonable right path.
Yep.
That's why I thought this was going to be so much fun. Is for us, we're looking for outlap, 1 or 2 fast laps, and bring the car in, so the car's kind of tailored toward those things. And just talking to you about different ideas and things that you felt really kind of opened my eyes on, oh, well, this is a good idea. And then, you know, like talking about the third spring idea that we had, and how we feel like that would affect the experience. All that stuff's really fun, so I'm super glad we got to do this. It's really neat to see what the comparison is, because for a whole lot of years, you know, we've been into time attack and the whole, you know, more grassroots versions of motorsport for a long time, and everybody always banters back and forth of, well, those cars would just eat your lunch, and time attack guys are like, no, they wouldn't, we got more power and more downforce, but nobody really knew. So today, kind of having you out, same track, same day, same driver, race car, time attack car, what's the difference? And it's really I don't know, I guess in a way it's a little bit predictable that yes, this thing doesn't have a team of engineers that spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week making it more refined. So it being less refined is understandable.
Yeah.
But it was neat to see that, you know, the more power and more downforce did lead to a little bit quicker lap time for you. So, and I think if we can refine things further, you know, this thing certainly has more potential still. So.
And that's the beauty of it for you guys. You can take it as it is now and make it better, refine it as it sits with this package, or you can just dream up something else and add more downforce or more power or whatever it is and go faster that way too. So yeah, you know, for me it was driving the car right away. It was about, again, kind of, I went right back into my racing mode of what do I need from the car to go faster? And that already tells me that it's not like, hey man, like the shifting is super slow or the brakes don't feel right or whatever it is. It was right into, I have this, let's work on making the car rotate better. Let's make the car do this better. And so that was, we talked before we came here a few weeks ago that, you know, I was excited to drive a cool car like this, and you're excited to have someone like me come in and give you guys maybe a little bit of direction, say, yes, we're on the right path, or we should go this way or do this or whatever it is. So a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it's been worthwhile for you to let me rip your car around here and beat it up a little bit.
Having Pierce let us bring out the Corvette race cars was super, super awesome. Like today has been like a little kid day. We've all been giddy and laughing and smiling and having a whole lot of fun. So it was great. And I can't thank you enough for coming out, man.
Yeah, thanks,
Mike.
Mike.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mike.